Hey guys, it's Mo. So today I have for you another Cricut related Inkscape video. So I get asked a lot on how I use patterns in Inkscape, how I make my stickers, how to use patterns in Inkscape so I can make these little sticker kits or whatnot. And you'll see this is the layout that I use for all of my Cricut Ready stickers, especially the ones on my blog. You can see this is the one on my blog from last week. If we click over here to Cricut Ready stickers on my blog, you'll find every single Cricut Ready sticker that I have on my blog. And if you find some of the like weekly kits or mini weekly kits, you'll see that they have the same layout. Let's open these images so you can get an idea of this. Open image in a new tab. You can see it's the exact same layout, and you can see that that is the layout right here. So today I'm going to show you how to work with patterns in Inkscape. First, I want to let you know that I do have a video on how to create repeating patterns using Inkscape, so how to make a pattern in Inkscape. And then I also have a video on how to import patterns into Cricut Design Space. This video is going to use some of these patterns we created, not necessarily this fox and this bear. I'm going to use some other patterns that I created and use them in Inkscape to make a sticker kit that you can, like a template that you can use all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lot of shortcut keys in here. So I suggest, if there's one thing I can tell you to do, to just get in your mind and do, is to learn and use your shortcut keys. You can look up like shortcut keys for Inkscape or shortcut keys in general, and it will help you to be faster in your designing. So I'm holding down Control and I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. But what I do is I've saved this template. So every time I go to make a sticker kit, I just open one I've opened up before. So I'm going to go and I'm going to save this as something new. Save as. We can go, I'm going to save it in my mini kits here, and I'm just going to label this test kit, a new folder. I'm going to open that folder and I'm going to name this test kit. Whoops, kit. And we're saving it as an Inkscape SVG. So let's go back in here and you can see that this file name is an SVG. That means that you're going to be able to edit this file over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in Inkscape. Anytime you work with Inkscape and you make a file, you design something in Inkscape, don't just stop at exporting it as a PNG. Save it as an Inkscape file, so if you want to go back in and edit it or pick colors from it or use that same template over and over and over again, you have that template. I do that all the time. So we've saved this as a new SVG. I'm going to use my Control key and the scroll wheel on my mouse. I'm going to drag and select all of these patterns here that I was working with. What I'm going to do is I have some patterns here. Let's see here. Okay, so you can use JPEG files and you can use PNG files. I was doing a test here to see something. So I created both of these patterns in Inkscape. So what I want to share with you or go over with you today is using a pattern that is able to be tiled. That's what we created in this video here, how to create patterns in Inkscape. It's usually going to be a square file. For the most part, it's going to be a square file. There can be files that aren't square. Where was I here? YouTube videos. Okay, so this is a square file. It is a tileable image. You often find it when you're looking for like tileable desktop backgrounds. And even when you go to set your desktop background, it'll often ask you if you want to tile it, meaning have it be repeating over and over and over again. Sometimes you can also buy from places like Etsy or digital marketplaces like digital scrapbooking paper or digital papers. A lot of the times if you go on Etsy here, let's see, you will find like these guys. So these are not necessarily tileable. What you're going to get is a 12 by 12 kind of piece of paper, not necessarily a piece of paper, 12 by 12 file, 12 inch by 12 inch file, because it's technically or being marketed as something for scrapbooking. A lot of sticker makers use these digital papers to make their stickers, to put their patterns in the stickers like this, like these patterns here. All of these images, the images that I deleted from the side over here, they weren't tileable. I had to fidget with this to make it work. So what you want to do, if you don't have a template already made, I'm going to be doing a video that shows you how to sort of make a template in Inkscape. But literally there are the videos on my channel, I'll leave them all linked below, on how to make an ombre heart checklist, how to make your today headers. I think I did these guys, teardrops, label boxes. I may have done a weekend banner, I'm not sure, but you can learn to make all of these elements in Inkscape with the videos that I will link down below. So you're gonna have all of these resources to make this. So let's get into this. So what you want to do is you want to find where you've saved your pattern. I'm going to use this tileable pattern here. It's a square pattern that it's going to match up when we do it. If you want to know more about tiling, look at this. Take a look at this video, and I show you how I duplicate these tiles here all around, and it kind of makes a whole image of that pattern. So if you want to understand tiling more, check that out. So we'll go back to this test SVG here. We're going to go to not downloads. We're going to go to YouTube, and we're going to take our little cactus image, this is the tileable image that I was talking about, and drag and drop it into Inkscape. Leave all of these things alone. This is a PNG bitmap image. You can also use a JPEG, any image that, or any image type, any file type that Inkscape will open, you can use. So we're going to hit OK. It's going to import this really big. Again, I'm going to use Control and the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom out. You can see I've got some other stuff I was working on before on this. Like I said, I use these templates over and over and over again. So I didn't even know that was there because I must have opened this template to make this marble pattern stickers from another template. So that's what I'm saying. You can use it over and over again. So oftentimes I find that Inkscape will lag if I have a big image like this. So what I do is I lock the proportions. You want to make sure you lock the proportions. And then I just scale this guy down a little bit. And I bring him over here so we can work with him in this little guy. So again, using the control and then using the control key and then scrolling up on my mouse, I'm zooming in and out. So we're going to click on our pattern here. We go to Object, Pattern, Object to Pattern. And what that does is that puts this pattern in our pattern fill box. Now, the unfortunate thing is you can't name it. So there are all these patterns that I've used before, and unfortunately, I can't name them. So I don't know what they are. All I know is that the last one created is going to be right here. So we can go and click on this box here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And we're going to click on this last pattern we created. Now you can see that it fills the whole square. It fills the whole box. By the way, these are 1.5 inches by 1.9 inches tall. So this fits your Erin Condren box or your Happy Planner box for the most part. I did read / see that Erin Condren has changed the sizing, the vertical sizing of some of her planner boxes. I'm not 100% sure. I have an Erin Condren planner from last year, like it's a 2017. It was released last year, was it? I have no idea. It's for 2017, but I bought it last year. I bought 2 of them, and I'm gonna just use date covers on my second one. Either way, that's neither here nor there. So what we want to do is change this pattern. Let's say you want to have a more close-knit pattern. You don't want to have it all like spread out like this. So what you can do is double click. It's going to bring up all these little nodes here. You're going to have this X, a circle, and a square. If you want to adjust the size of the cacti in this pattern, hold down the Control key and grab this little box. It's going to turn red. That's going to make these guys shrink. So you can just play with it until you find something that you like. If you want to change the, I guess you would call it the position of the cacti in this box, grab this X and drag it around so you can get like a diagonal thing or whatnot. If you want to change the rotation, you grab this little circle and change that guy around. I was trying to get it lined up. So now you can see how you play with your patterns that are tileable in Inkscape. Second way is if you get a digital scrapbook paper. Oftentimes you may think, oh, this looks like it's tileable, but because the pattern is so wide, it might have been created. For example, I created this scrapbook. I'm going to call it a digital scrapbook paper. I created this in Inkscape with a tileable image. However, this image is not tileable. So we're going to have to do some funky stuff with it. So I'm going to use this JPEG file instead of a PNG just to show you can do it with both. So we're going to drag and drop this guy over here again, leave all of this alone and just hit OK. It's going to import it in really, really big. I'm going to wait a second for it to work here. So it's really, really big. I'm going to hit Control S and save my work. Control S is going to continually save your work. I've noticed that with Inkscape, because it tends to lag when I'm working with these huge patterns, I often get it's not responding or something, and I don't want to lose my work. Again, make sure your proportions are locked. Hold down the Control key and use your scroll wheel on your mouse to scroll out. If the proportions are locked, that means we can scale down this guy to a more manageable working sort of size. Then hold down Control and scroll up on your scroll wheel on your mouse, and that's going to make your, or zoom in on your canvas here. I am also going to make this a little bit tinier. So we're going to do the same thing. Object, pattern, objects to pattern. It's going to import it into our little pattern box here. So we can just click on this guy. From the drop down, choose the last one we made, and you have this little guy here. So now you can see how it kind of gets funky when you use non-tileable images. So if you use digital scrapbook paper, you can see here that things are sort of cut off. You got half a skirt, you got half a top. So we want to do those same sorts of things. Whoops. Where we double click on that, hold down the Control key, and kind of move this guy around. What you can also do is make it bigger. I find it helps to make it bigger. And then to pan, you see how we have these like dots that are kind of halfway? To pan a little bit, and then scroll back in and make sure everything looks good. And then you can play with the rotation and whatnot here. So we have two guys like this. Now, if you have a box that doesn't have any fill in it yet and you want to add a fill, or doesn't have a pattern in it yet and you want to add a pattern, from your fill and stroke box, and by the way, if you don't see fill and stroke, I believe you go to View. Let's see here. I'm going to have to find it, because Object and then Fill and Stroke, and that should bring this up on the side here. So you want to make sure that you select your box that you want to add the fill to. You go over here to this checkerboard guy, hover over it, it says Pattern, go to Pattern. It's going to fill it in with all of these crazy patterns that we've had before. But if we want to work with the patterns we had up on the page, just select the pattern that you've created. And it's going to always fall on the end of the list here. So the next pattern we create is going to go under this one if we import another pattern. So now you have a box with a pattern, and you can start your template design from there. I'm going to delete this. And then normally what I do is I will decide, okay, what colors am I going to use from this? So I will right click, I'll select this pink guy here, this checkbox. Heart checklist. I right click and I go select same, fill and stroke. That selects everything. It should select everything that is pink. Let's do it on this. Sometimes it doesn't work. This is an open source software, so there are some glitches and bugs, I feel like. So let's see. Okay, so I did it on this pink teardrop here. If I right click and did select same and fill and stroke, it selected everything in this template here that was that pink color. So then I just go to my eyedropper. If you don't have the eyedropper, you can hit F7 and your little cursor is going to turn into an eyedropper, and I just choose a color. So F1 will turn it back to a cursor, or you can click this guy. And I will click on, let's do this since it makes it easier, and I'll right click, select same, fill and stroke. I'll hit F7 or click my little eyedropper here and I'll choose another color. And pretty much what I'm doing is going through and just changing the colors to match the colors that I have selected or that are prominent in the patterns that I've used. Obviously, or whatever you want to do, but obviously you would want to use some patterns around all of these that match. And you just go through and change the colors until you find a color scheme that you like. And again, we just select this all. The size of this, there is going to be a new size for Print and Cut in Cricut Explore. It hasn't been released yet as far as I know. I'm going to try to do a video on everything I know about Cricut Explore in the new design space. I'm not sure when that's going to go up though. But the size of this, you can see we can convert this to inches, is 5.5 by 8.5. And what we want to do is go to Export PNG Image. If that doesn't show up, I believe you go to File, Export PNG Image, and that's going to bring this section up here. We want to select Export As. We're going to save it in, let's find it here, Test Kit Guy. And I'm going to save this as Test Kit. And I hit Enter. You'll see it says PNG right here, save. That is not saved your PNG yet though. You want to go export. Once you click on export, it's going to make your PNG image. You also want to make sure you have selection here highlighted instead of any of this. And you want to make sure your DPI is 300 before you hit export. Then we can go in our, let's see here, free stickers, mini kits, test kit. Now we have a PNG image that we can upload to Cricut Design Space. So that's sort of the ins and outs of how you use patterns. I couldn't think of the word. Patterns, digital scrapbook papers, digital patterns in Inkscape. Again, you can create your own patterns and use those in Inkscape as well. Create your templates, upload them to Design Space, and cut your stickers. This is a great way to streamline and, you know, work with creating stickers and making the same thing the same every time. That way you're not like, oh man, do I need a heart checklist? I don't know. I got to make all this all the same time. Just save it. And then next time, so let's close this out. Make sure we save everything. And let's say, you know, I have made some more patterns. So I know that I want to make another kit. Okay, I'm just going to open Test Kit again. And I'm going to import the patterns that I want to use. We can go back. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find some more patterns. So we can grab some patterns that we may have, you know, already. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to delete these because why not? I'm also going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as Donuts. And we'll just go over here and import our donut pattern. Okay. I'm going to make sure I have the proportions locked. I'm going to size this guy down to make him easier to work with. And I'm going to go Object, Pattern, Objects to Pattern. That's going to bring it up right here. I'm going to click on this guy and I'm going to change it to this donut. You know? And we'll do this. Hold down Control. Make this a little bit smaller. Great. We'll go over here and I'm going to grab another donut pattern. We'll grab this one. Okay. Once it imports, I'm going to make sure the proportions are locked and I'm going to scale it down to make it easier to work with. Object, Pattern, Objects to Pattern. Cool. We'll go here, pick the last one. It's a little bit too big. Do the same thing, you know, and maybe I want to rotate this guy. Oops, I'm holding down the Control key, so it's moving kind of crazy. You know, so then we do that, and then we do the same thing. I want to make all these yellow, so we'll click this one here, right click, select same, fill and stroke, use my eyedropper, that or F7, make all those guys yellow. We'll go to this one, right click, select same, fill and stroke, eyedropper, make them pink. That's kind of a little bit brown. I want that bright pink. You know, and you just do that to make all your elements. It's going to select all the elements of the same color, and it's going to match the colors to your patterns. So I hope that video was helpful. It was kind of quick because it is quick and easy. It's quick and dirty. You can definitely do this in no time. I'm going to leave links down below to how to make patterns in Inkscape, how to upload patterns if you want to know how to upload and use patterns in Cricut Design Space. I'm also going to link how to make labels in Inkscape, how to make today headers in Inkscape, how to make your heart checklist in Inkscape, all those sorts of things. And I'm going to leave my Cricut Design Space and Cricut Explore tutorials down below. If you haven't already joined the Cricut Ready Facebook group, I suggest you do that. Because if you join the Cricut Ready Planner Stickers group, you will have access to a whole bunch of files. Let me see if I can find some. I also post blog posts when I go, or when I have blog posts on my channel. You'll learn, or on my blog. There's a whole bunch of information about people making stickers, about how they made stickers. You can access all the files. Let's scroll back up here. If I know how to navigate my own group, here we go, files. You can see a whole bunch of crazy stickers. If we click over here, I think you can go see original post. That's going to bring up the original post, and it'll have a preview of what the stickers look like. I'm having some internet problems right now, guys, and I don't know why. It is really making me upset. For some reason, it's not showing it. But anyway, you have access to all of these stickers. Like, a lot of stickers. If you don't think that there's enough stickers on my blog, you need to join the Facebook group. I will leave it linked down below. Yeah, I don't know why it's loading. Or why it's not loading. I will leave that link down below. I do hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I would love for you to stick around and, you know, learn how to use your Cricut Explorer, learn how to use Inkscape to design things for your Cricut Explorer, and just be creative. Just work in your planner and just create things for your planner. This is an amazing machine. I know it's the underdog, but you can make it work for you. So thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.